We hear a lot of stories about tackling Britain's obesity crisis, but how do you feel about this? Larger patients are apparently more likely to lose weight if their doctors offer advice using an optimistic tone.
Yes, researchers say that people tend to lose weight more successfully if medics present treatments for obesity as good news or an opportunity, rather than emphasising the problem. Well, let's get into this now with weight loss expert Steve Miller, who says people are too scared to tackle this topic and fear motivates us. Meanwhile, GP and health campaigner Dr. Sonia Adesara thinks empowerment helps us lose weight and a negative mindset doesn't actually help. Steve, fair to say you're not a fan of the sensitive approach to tackling obesity?
Oh, I think you've got to be very blunt with people. And I tell you what, there's a big fat gargantuan gap in this study from what I have read, because what they didn't study was the people that received the bad news as well as the good news. And in motivational psychology, you need both. You need what we call the push style of motivation and the pull style of motivation. In other words, the carrot and the stick. So yes, I absolutely believe you've got to give a finger wag. And yes, you've got to show people their funeral flowers at times. And yes, you've got to tell them if they don't sort themselves out, they'll be in an oven in the crematorium.
I mean, Dr. Sonia, there's something in that, isn't there? There's no point in beating around the bush, but, you know, at the same time, you want to have an air of... You're not there to insult people as a clinician, but reality does sometimes have to bite.
Yeah, I guess my experience of working as a GP is that the vast majority of people are not stupid. They know when they're overweight. They also know that being overweight or being obese is harmful to their health. But we also know that it's very difficult to lose weight. And if you are telling people off and just telling people to do better, it often doesn't help. And actually, the current strategy of just telling people to do better and telling people that they should lose weight clearly hasn't worked, and obesity rates have doubled in the past 2 decades in this country. And from my experience, actually, if you are empowering people, making them feel that they can, supporting them and making them feel that they're able to lose weight, then that tends to be more successful. You know, we live in an environment where it's very, very, very easy to put on weight. It's actually quite difficult to lose weight and to make those changes in your lifestyle. So helping people do that, I found, has been really beneficial.
Steve, in your opinion, if you were to address somebody else on the other side of the spectrum, as it were, somebody who was having difficulty with, say, anorexia or bulimia, would you consider that a tough approach or a blunt approach would be the way to help them, or actually that treating a patient with optimism and empathy would be something that would help them on their way to health?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about people with anorexia, you're talking about a completely different subject. And I tell you what, I'm a kind-hearted guy, and I would put my arms around those people and I would do whatever I can.
So why are we treating that differently to people who overeat?
Well, it's a completely different condition, And I'll tell you why. I'm going to be blunt about this one, because a lot of fat people, and I say this as a weight loss so-called expert, a lot of fat people are fat because they're lazy. And they're lazy in the mind. They're lazy in here, right? And it's not about being lazy in terms of choice. And don't be telling me that's fat shaming.
Sonia, what's your response to that?
They love it when I tell them it.
A third of this country is overweight. About a third of our kids now are overweight. A third of this country is not lazy. We don't have a lazy mindset. And actually, obesity rates have been soaring, have doubled in the past 20 years. We haven't all of a sudden become more lazy and have a more lazy mindset. We live in an environment where it's very, very easy to put on weight. A lot of the food that we eat makes us want to eat more, makes us people put on weight, and I just, you know, this idea that people are just overweight because they're not using the stairs, I just think is really ridiculous and wrong.
No.
Steve, just for a second.
I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to have this, because do not underestimate the amount of people that are too fat, right, that absolutely adore a bit of tough love. And it's the catalyst, it's the difference that makes the difference. And motivational psychology would agree with me. You've got to be strong with people, and you've got to also put your arm around them as well. It's the same with, like, you know, I don't know, using your mobile phone. in the car. You've got to have, there's a punishment at the end if you don't sort it, you know, if you're using it, as well as the encouragement, you're not going to get a fine. It's the same sort of thing, honestly. It's not about being to people.
I think most of the research shows that actually degrading people, making people feel bad about themselves, makes it very difficult to make positive changes in their life. And actually, if you are supporting people, empowering people, making them feel that they are able to make these changes in their lifestyle,
that's what I
then we
am
know
saying.
the research shows that's more positive, and people are able to make more positive changes.
That's what I am saying.
Steve, can I just ask you? I've watched you on the television for many years. Are you a little chunkier than you were the first time I saw you on the box?
Oh, I tell you what, I go up and down.
Just kind of round here a little bit, maybe.
Oh, I know, round here.
Yeah.
I tell you what, my cheeks, isn't it? Chubby cheeks time. And I tell you what, I am so pleased
you need to lose that, man. What's going on?
A bit of tough love from Ian Collins.
All right.
Well, Steve,
Dr. Sonia Adesara,
thank you so much.